military. Why do they need leftist ideological conformity in the military? Why do they only want these communist apparatchiks who are going to take orders? Because what kind of abominable orders are they going to start giving against the civilians when you start hearing these idiots on MSNBC, these boxwine, Maddow cat ants, talking about the wonderful grandparents, Trump supporters, MAGA people who went into the Capitol as Al-Qaeda. Well, if they were Al-Qaeda, we would be giving them weapons and funding their regime changes all over the world. But no, they want to treat us like domestic terrorists. The Army National Guard, the National Guard here in the United States of America, is currently advertising, recruiting for the position of internment resettlement specialist based in Washington, D.C. Internment resettlement specialist. Internment. Wait a second. Internment, like from history? Oh, I have a leaked document from U.S. headquarters of the Army during the Obama administration. Internment and resettlement operations. And there's a whole category for civilian internee. I have a Department of Defense directive under Obama, 2014, talking about civilian internees. U.S. citizens can be detained as military detainees, according to this document. Quote, civilian internees may lawfully be detained until the reasons that necessitated the civilian's internment no longer exist.
Pay attention now. This getting some real things real quick.
Targeted
and this is just recent.
By the globalists that want you dead. In turn, then, the military will be weaponized against itself within its own rank and file, and then weaponized against you. And this is not hyperbole. There is proof of this. Patrick Howley is senior reporter at National File, and he joins us now. He's breaking some documents that are clearly available, publicly sourced documents. Patrick, thank you for being here. I mean, break this all down.
Stu, it's great to be here. The Sleepy Joe regime is trying to mandate that our armed men and women in uniform have to get the vaccine, the Rona jab, by September 15th. Now, if you look at the massive amounts of reports of health complications, health problems, deaths, immune system problems, if you are an American patriot, you have to stand with our American soldiers right now and realize that this is perhaps the gravest national security crisis that is happening, in addition to the fact that we have open borders right now. So, the forced vaccine, the forced mandate that this sleepy person, this abomination, this creature, this child sniffer is trying to inflict upon our heroes must be stopped. And I know that, we talked prior to the show, Stu. You just got a text about a meeting that is occurring as we speak where some people in the military are trying to stand up to this at the Pentagon and stop Sleepy Joe from doing this.
And I did just hear back, by the way, on that. And I should interject here because I did just hear back from that officer in the Army who basically told me, I asked him, is there any chance of this thing being rolled back? And his answer was no, I really don't think so. You've seen the packet. The packet is pretty airtight. There aren't any mistakes in it. And he believes that it's going to be signed by the Secretary of the Army.
What this is about is not only about potentially the physical deterioration of our troops, but also the demoralization of any conservatives, any freedom lovers who are in the military, and it's still majority freedom lovers, patriots, people who would identify as right-wing, as conservative. And what the military is trying to do right now under subverted Chi-Com influence leadership is create an ideological conformity whereby only leftists, only globalists, only vaccine takers, don't shit on me, bro, are the ones who are going to be left in the military. Why is that so important for them? I just broke these documents. By the way, we reported that every West Point cadet who doesn't get the vaccine gets held in solitary confinement, okay? That's what some of those young men are going through when you see them at the Army-Navy football game. I have a document here. Biden's Office of the Secretary of Defense put out a 13-page document, okay? I got it. It's guidance for their stand-downs. Every branch of the military had to stand down. So this is what the guidance that they were giving to everybody. It stressed that people in the military don't have First Amendment guarantees the way that civilians do. Speech, quote, may be restricted. Some speech, quote, will have consequences. This is very similar to the UN racism inspectors that Sleepy Joe has invited here. They talk about white supremacists. This is the Secretary of Defense. You're talking about domestic protests, referring to January 6th, of course. And let me just say that when the Viking shaman went in there and tried to shamanically clear the demonic energy from the Capitol, that was the nicest thing that anyone in government has done for me in months. So thank you, Viking shaman. But of course, they are using January 6th as a pretext to try to weaponize the military state against the civilians who actually love this country and who actually support the military. And the most amazing thing is they encourage and in fact threaten soldiers to report on other soldiers if they have any kind of suspicious behavior. Okay,
so what we're seeing down under right now, Patrick, what we're seeing in Australia, down under, we're seeing decontamination tents set up in people's front yards. Their health chief there is saying you're going to be arrested if you talk to your neighbor. Don't spark up any unwarranted, any unnecessary conversation at all. It is not permissible. It will not be tolerated. You will be jailed. These things are happening in Australia, which by every sense of the imaginable word is really the prototype for the New World Order. That seems to be what's happening there. What is stopping this from happening here right now? I mean, anything? It looks like the military's all set. They're ready to go.
It's happening here right now. I mean, just today it was reported that the Sleepy Joe regime is considering banning the unvaccinated people like me from moving from one state to another, going over state lines. You know, the question is, why do they need leftist ideological conformity in the military? Why do they only want these communist apparatchiks who are going to take orders? Because what kind of abominable orders are they going to start giving against the civilians when you start hearing these idiots on MSNBC, these boxwine, mad owl cat ants, you know, talking about the wonderful grandparents, Trump supporters, MAGA people who went into the Capitol as Al-Qaeda. Well, if they were Al-Qaeda, we would be giving them weapons and funding their regime changes all over the world. But no, they want to treat us like domestic terrorists. The Army National Guard, the National Guard here in the United States of America, is currently advertising, recruiting for the position of internment resettlement specialist based in Washington, D.C. Internment resettlement specialist. Internment. Wait a second. Internment, like from history? Oh, I have a leaked document from U.S. headquarters of the Army during the Obama administration. Internment and resettlement operations. And there's a whole category for civilian internee. I have a Department of Defense directive under Obama 2014 talking about civilian internees. U.S. citizens can be detained as military detainees, according to this document. Quote, civilian internees may lawfully be detained until the reasons that necessitated the civilian's internment no longer exist. Quote, biometric identification information will be collected from all detainees. BII collected on detainees who are U.S. citizens or U.S. resident aliens will be conducted in accordance with U.S. law. And of course, they're rewriting the law as we speak. Quote, civilian internees interned for imperative reasons of security or for their own protection. Ooh, that's very important. Or for their own protection. Maybe they just need to protect all of their Democrats from these unvaccinated people, or maybe the unvaccinated people are the ones who they say need to be protected from the super shedders who got all their Pfizer jabs, these walking little, petri dishes with their disgusting germ-filled face masks on, okay? They can do basically anything when it comes to internment, including of U.S. citizens, according to their own justifications, their own top secret documents. And now they're advertising for people to intern people. So you want to ask, why are they throwing out? Why are they doing all of these new background checks on enlistees to get rid of right wingers? Why are they throwing out anybody who posted Pepe the Frog on social media? Because when it comes time to take unlawful orders, they don't want any oath keepers around. They don't want any people saying, no, I'm about the Constitution, not about your orders. They want people who are going to take orders directly from Chairman Xi and the damn Chi-Coms.
So this has been, you said this was during